Hi class, this is Dr. Karsten, and today we are going over Grade 4, Unit 3, Lesson 11, Session 2. These are the practice pages, and you had to do problems 1, 2, and 3. So I wanted to go over these for you. So first of all, let's take a look at this one. Now you'll notice that I have a lot of yellow stuff on my page. Sometimes my printer has a little glitch, and I didn't want to waste any more paper, and since I didn't need the top portion, that was fine. All right, so Number 1 says, look at the multiplication above. Use partial products to find 2 times 546. Fill in the boxes. You guys can look at the picture above. I'm going to really just focus on this portion of it because we really spent a lot of time working on this today. So let's take a look and see what's going on here. We have the number 546 times 2. And remember, when we're doing partial products, partial meaning a part of or a piece of, product being multiplication, we're multiplying things in parts. So first we do 2 times the ones, then we do 2 times the tens, and then we do 2 times the hundreds. Now, we started doing something a little different in class because it seems to be a lot easier for us. So we're going to first work it through this way, and then I'm going to do it where we have something slightly different over here. Or actually, maybe I'll just write it next to it. So first thing that we did was we do 2 times the 1. So it's 2 times 6 ones. So I'm going to go ahead and put that 2 right here because it's 2 times 6 ones. And another way to do that is just to say 2 times 6. Excuse me. And what is 2 times 6 ones? It's 12. And there it is. 12 was already written there for us. So now remember, after we do 2 times the ones, now we're going to do 2 times the tens. So this is 4 tens. Another way to think of it is that 4 tens is 40, or a lot of you know how to do that and say 2 times 40. I'm going to write that because that seems to work better for us. So if I do 2 times 4 tens, or 40, you guys know your zero trick. 2 times 4 is 8. And then we add on that 0. And that's because it's 2 times 4 tens, 2 times 4 is 8, 8 tens would be 80. But this seems to work the best for us. So I'm going to go ahead and write 80 in right here. And then last we're going to do 2 times the hundreds, and we have 5 hundreds. Or another way to write that is 2 times 500. And again, you could either do this where you say you have 10 hundreds, and 100 means add on 2 zeros, or you could simply do the zero trick here where you're doing 2 times 5, which is 10, and then we have to add on those 2 zeros. So again, 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 hundreds, hundreds adds on 2 zeros, or the same thing here, 2 times 500, but using the zero trick. 2 times 5 is 10, and add on the 2 zeros. And now you just have to add everything. So 2 plus 0 and 0 is 2, 1 plus 8 is 9, 0 is just plain old 0, and 1 is just plain old 1. And we have 1,092. So I am going to stick with doing it this way for us, but I do want to remind you again, if you have 2 times 5 hundreds, that would be 10 hundreds. If I were to write, and I just want to remind you of this really quick, 10 hundreds, that would be, let's count, 10 hundreds, all right? That would be 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. So 10 hundreds would be 1,000, or again, it would be 10, and 100 has 2 zeros, so we would put on 2 zeros. So I just want to remind you of that. Similarly, let's just say that we had 8 hundreds. That's just 8 with the 2 zeros, 8 hundreds. So whenever you see the word hundreds, you're adding on 2 zeros. And again, if I were counting up 8 hundreds, I have my 8 fingers, I have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. So again, 800 is just this, or you could write it this way and use your zero trick. Either way is awesome. So let's go ahead and we're going to do this one the same exact way, but I'm going to do it on a separate piece of paper just so that we have some room to work. So let me first write down what the problem is. So we are this time doing 3 times 132, And again, we are doing partial products. And right now I'm going to give you guys a secret code word. And the secret code is goldfish. So that's the secret code. It's goldfish, all one word, goldfish, 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 goldfish. All right, so here we go. We are going to do this, and again, we're going to use the partial products, and we're going to do it by lining it, by stacking it. So I'm going to rewrite it first. So I think this pen is starting to run out of ink, so let's switch it up. So we have 132 times 3. So remember, the first thing that we are going to do right here is we are going to do 3 times the ones. And when I do 3 times the ones, I see that I have 2 ones. So I'm going to do 3 times 2. And 3 times 2 is just 6. Nice and easy. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to do 3 times the tens. Now again, you could do 3 times 3 tens, or you can write 3 times, I know this is 30. It's in the tens position. You guys know this is 30. The value is 30. So 3 times 30. And I'm going to use my zero trick. 3 times 3 is 9, and we can write it on the side, that's fine. And then I add on that 0. Or again, if you did 3 times 3 tens, you would have 9 tens, and 9 tens is 90. So I'm going to go ahead and write 90. Now make sure that you line up your ones and your tens really carefully. And now the third thing, so we did 3 times the ones, 3 times the tens, now we're going to do 3 times the hundreds. So again, we always start with that 3 times, but now we're doing 3 times the hundreds. So when we do 3 times the hundreds, we have 100 there. And again, you could have written 1 and then the word 100, that's fine. And if I do my zero trick, 3 times 1 is 3, and I add on 2 zeros. All right, and so that's 300. And again, if you'd written 3 times 100, you'd have 3 hundreds, or 3 with 2 zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. And now the last step is that we have to add them all up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do 6 plus 0 is 6, 9 plus 0 is 9, and 3 plus nothing is 3. And I get 396. And I can go ahead and I can write that right here, 396. All right, so remember that you can always pause this if you need to. All right, let's take a look at the next question. And you guys only have to do questions 1, 2, and 3. So here we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to focus on doing the partial products the way that we've been doing it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stack those, and we're going to do it the same exact way. I want to make sure that I have plenty of room to work. So I am going to rewrite this up here so that we have more room. So 915. And I'm multiplying that by 6. All right, so again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do 6 times the ones. How many ones? 5 ones. So you could write 6 times 5 ones, or 6 times 5. And 6 times 5 is just 30. So I'm going to write that right here. And then next, we are going to go ahead and we're going to do 6 times the tens. So we did 6 times the ones. Now we have to do 6 times the tens. How many tens do we have? We have 1 10, which is the same thing as 10. So it's just 6 times 10. So we did 6 times 5 ones. Now we're doing 6 times 10. 6 times 10 is 60. All right, and now we are going to do 6 times the hundreds. So what do we have in the hundreds? We have a 9, so that's 900. So it's going to be 6 times 900. So zero trick it, 6 times 9 is 54. And then I have to add on these 2 zeros. So we get 5,400. So 5,400. 400. Do you see how carefully I'm lining everything up? It's really, really, really important that you do that. All right, and now I can finish adding. So now we add it all together. And 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 6 is 9. 4 plus nothing is 4. And 5 plus nothing is 5. And so that's my answer. The product of 6 and 915 is 5,490. All right, so if you want to watch me do this again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do problem number 4 for you so that you get a chance to see a little bit more of this. All right, so I'm not going to worry about estimating today. We are just sticking with finding the product of 483 and 7. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that for us. So we have 483, and we're just going to keep doing it this way for today, times 7. So remember, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do 7 times the ones, then 7 times the tens, and then 7 times the hundreds. So first we do 7 times the ones. How many ones? 3 ones. 7 times 3 is just 21. Now we're going to do 7 times the tens. And you know, I like to switch up the colors. So here we go. We're going to do 7 times the tens. How many tens? 8 tens, or 80. So zero trick it. 7 times 8. Do you guys know what that is? 56. And then you're going to add on your 0. And again, that's because we did 7 times 8 tens, and that would be 56 tens. And 56 tens is just 56 with a 0 added on. So let me write that over here. And I'm going to carefully line up my numbers. And now we can go ahead and we're going to do 7 times the hundreds. So we did 7 times the ones, 7 times the tens. Now we're doing 7 times the hundreds. And when we do that, except for it's 400, not 100, so there's 400. 7 times the hundreds. How many hundreds? 4 hundreds. So 7 times 400, and let's zero trick it. 7 times 4 is 28, and now we add on our 2 zeros. And so we end up with a 0, an 8, and a 2. I just go backwards so I can make sure they're lined up carefully. If you don't line them up carefully, you are going to get the wrong answer. And now I have to add them all up. So 1, 2 plus 6 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13, regroup that 1, and 1 plus 2 is 3. And you get 3,381. All right, my friends, so make sure that you do the Google form that goes along with this. Remember what that secret word was that I did in between problems, or right around problem 2. Was it before problem 2 or after? I think right before I started it. Anyway, all right, my friends, I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you in our Google Classroom.